If you're wondering how to use Airtable to manage painting projects, I'm going to walk through how to set up your Airtable base to do just that. So if that's of interest, stick around because that's what we're going to be talking about. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Chris. I am the owner of Boolean Automation. We work specifically with painting companies to streamline operations and make it very efficient for them to grow and scale. So we're very good at eliminating data entry, mapping out processes, and then automating those processes. And ultimately, our mission is to free you up to do what you love. And that means to free up the entrepreneur, to free up the business people, because we want the skilled people in the business doing skilled tasks and stop doing unskilled tasks that should be done by computers. So that's what we do here at Boolean. If you're interested in chatting more, you can find all the links down below. But let's get into this video. All right, so first thing, you're going to need a Airtable account. I'm going to drop the little referral or my referral link down in the description below. So if you want, it helps us out. I think we get $10 every time somebody signs up. So, why not? If you want, unless you already have an account, you can just jump into that. All right, so the first thing is I just want to point out, there are templates that you can use. I don't recommend it if you're new to Airtable because I think it's more powerful to understand the structure of how things are built. Plus, it doesn't take that long to build it anyway. So what I like doing is just going in and saying, I'm going to create a base and I'm going to put this into my Boolean automation workspace. And so now the first thing you have to do when you're using Airtable is just think about how is the data in your business structured and how many different tables do you need? So what I mean by that is, we have these tables you can think as individual databases. So for example, you're going to need this first database we will call projects. That's probably the most important base that you have. I also like building out a couple of these from the beginning because it just helps think about it in the right way. We're going to create another table here that's going to be called companies. And then we have another table that is called contacts. And these will be your customers. And then I like creating one more that is called people, and this is going to be your employees. So let's go to the project database here first. All right. So the first thing is I just want to point out, I don't like these. We'll go ahead and delete these. The three ones that they have by default are not that useful. So what I like doing is first we're going to come in here and you think about it. So like, what do you need for a painting project? You need a job number. So we're going to have a job number, and that's going to be a single line text field. Next thing we should probably have is a date that the job was won. So let's keep track of when did the job get won. And this is going to be a date. And then we're going to have a couple other date fields. So I'm just going to go ahead. There's this fancy trick here. You can hold down the Option, or I believe it's the Alt key if you're on a PC, and just drag it over like that. And we can make a couple date fields that we'll just have to rename instead of having to rebuild them from scratch every time. So you just go like this. And now all I have to do is come in and edit the name of the field and say, this one is going to be the start date. And this one is going to be the complete date. So this is like when, obviously, when did the job get won? When is it going to start? When is it going to finish? Next thing that we're going to want to do is put in the crew leader that's going to be working on this. And this is going to be a linked record field. And we're going to link to the people table. So go ahead and do that. And then we probably also need to know how much was the project. So what was the amount? And we'll have this be a currency field. So you click OK. Who sold the project? It's always nice to know which estimator on the team sold it if you're going to pay out commission or something. So we'll put in the estimator there. And that's going to be also a linked record to the people table. Click OK. And then we need to also, because we have the project here, we need to associate the project with whatever customer bought or purchased that project. So we can also go in here and add a customer field, which is going to be a linked record. And we're going to link that to the the contact table. So I think this is a good start for actually, let's do one more, the work order. So I'll add in here work order. And in my case, I like using estimate tools that have digital work orders. So just a URL. So I put in work order URL, and then it's just a single line text field. I think there's actually a URL field here. Yeah. Click the URL. That makes it a clickable link. So you can click on that. And I think that is a good start. I should clarify that when you build this out, you're going to likely have, this might sound crazy, but over 100 properties. But this is going to give you a great understanding of how this works so that we can, continue to get some projects in here and show you how the data would come in. Next thing here, we have companies. So I'm going to, again, delete these default ones out of the gate, and let's just make our own. So we've got the name of the company already. I like doing like the website URL, for example, of the company. So this is going to be a URL field. And then we probably need to have the associated contacts at this company. So this is going to be a link to the contact record. So we're going to link to that. And then we're going to need a phone number and an address. Let's do a street address, and that's going to be single line text. And now again, because we have to do the rest of the address, I'm going to use that option button to copy over a couple of these because we're going to need street, city, state, and zip. So we'll do, this one is going to be city. So we have all of our address fields in the company. So I think that company table is good for now. And then we're going to have contacts, same type of thing here. Let's delete these three. Now you'll notice when you go into the contact table, you already have two records that were here that we didn't have when we started working on the project. And that's because we have chosen to, from the project table, to link to the contact table. And so that's what that's saying, is that if we were to put a project in here, and I'm going to call this first project, it's going to be job number 1, 2, 3, 4. It starts on January 1st. The complete date will be January 5th. It was won back in December. The amount was 4,000, and the customer, which we don't have yet. No, we'll come back to that. So now we have the companies, the contacts. Let's go ahead and finish building out the things here. So we have I like doing contacts with first name and last name. So we have first name, another field for last name, and we're going to need an email and a phone number, address fields again. For the sake of time, I'm just going to put address. You'll see how that works, and we can break those up into individual ones later. So we now have a contact, first name, last name, email, phone, address, and then we also have an association with a project and a company. The last thing that is a really cool feature in Airtable here is in this primary field. This is the most important field because this is how other records reference this. So I'm going to go in here and change this to, it can stay as name, but I'm going to change this to a formula field. And this is very similar to like a concatenate function in like Excel, but I can say first name and then put the and sign and then quotes, put another and sign, and last name. And now on here, I'm going to confirm that. So when I put in the name Chris Kiefer, and I'll put in my email here, chris@booleanreview.com, and my phone number is 971-300-4677. And then my address, 123 Easy Street, Galaxy, Universe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I've got my address, all that stuff is in there. And now I could actually go back over to the projects table because I was working on this, and I could associate this first project with Chris Kiefer. Now, the other thing here is, again, I recommend, one of the things that we should have in this table is a project type to know if it's interior, exterior, whatever. So we're going to insert one to the right, and this is going to be called project type. And this is a single select, because you can't have more. I recommend having only one project type per job line. So we're going to do interior or exterior. And so this first project is going to be an interior. And then what I recommend doing here for the name is, again, using that formula field to change this so that the name of the project is going to be job number. And then we're going to do the and sign with the quotes, job number, and then we'll do the customer name. So customer name, and then do another and sign, quotes with a space, and let's do the project type. So project type, there we go. So when I hit enter here, you can see that now I have this job is 1234 Chris Kiefer interior. Now, again, go over and look at the contact, and you can see that Chris Kiefer has a project 1234 Chris Kiefer associated with him. And then if Chris worked at a company, I could make a company here that's called Boolean and booleanreview.com. And the contact is associated here with Chris. And the phone number is 555-555-5555. And street address 1234 Main Street, beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, 12345. Let's do 83815. All right. So now we've got the company in there. So hopefully you're starting to see how all this comes together. I do want to take a minute and say, if this is valuable, I create content for painting companies. So it would mean the world to me if you could like the video, share this video in Facebook groups or with other friends. Our business functions in working with painting companies. So I try and put out as much free content as I can. Both subscribing to the channel just helps with scaling this and getting this content in front of more painters. And if you are interested in chatting, grab a time on the calendar down below, send us an email. I'd be happy to assist in any way that I can with this. So hopefully that's valuable, but I'll keep building and appreciate your time and attention. All right, so we've got contacts, people. Now let's add some employees in here. So we need to go, once again, delete these 3 fields. And you can see that we have this first one is linked to projects, and now you see a second one that's linked to projects. You might be wondering, why is that? That doesn't make any sense. But the reason is because the first reference that we made from the project table was for the crew leader to the people table. And then we made another one for the estimator. So in the people table, what I recommend doing is, once again, I would say do the first name and then single text field. And let's copy this over and change that to last name. And you can actually just double click on that and change or to edit. So last name. And now, once again, I can format this to say, this is going to be a formula field. And we're going to do first name, last name. There we go. And so if I say we've got John Doe and we'll say Steve Smith and Sarah Johnson and Mary Wilson. So we've got these employees here. Now, because this is our people table with all of our employees, we need to add a select tool here that is called a single select. And this is going to be the type of employee. So we have sales, we could have crew leader, we could have crew member, maybe an office or an admin position, and any other ones that you want. But now I could say, oh, John is the sales rep, Steve is the crew member, Sarah is the crew leader, and Mary is the admin. So now I've created these different people that have different roles in the business. And let's say if I want to, obviously you could add in all their contact information. So we could have email again, phone number, etc. I'll let you guys build that out. But one thing I want to show here is that's really cool is that if I go back over to projects, I could say from here, the crew leader is John Doe, but I don't want to have someone accidentally pick Mary, who's not a crew leader, because only crew leaders should be selected in this field. So what you can do is in the people table here, you can have these views over on the side where we're going to duplicate this view. And this one I'm going to rename this to my sales estimators. So this is going to be your sales estimator view. And I can filter the records in this table by saying, only show me the people that are sales. And I actually should rename this instead of select, it should say type. Or maybe we say role. Role makes more sense. So now I can say that only show me the role that is sales. So in this view, I only see John. Then I can make another one here, duplicate this and say, we're going to rename this to crew leaders. And then we're going to change the filter on the crew leader one to say, only show me it if it's a crew leader. And now you can see Sarah shows up there. And same thing again, I'll duplicate it one more time. And this one's going to be crew members. And then change the filter to be crew member. So now, for the sake of this, let's say if I go in and add another estimator here. So I'm going to add in our rock star. Whoops, let's go. I'm going to add in our rock star here, Luke Skywalker, and he's also in sales. And then the crew leader, we're going to add one more here and say the crew leader is Darth Vader, and he's another crew leader. So now I've made these 3 different views. Again, if I go to the top one here, I see all employees, but in any one of these, I see just that role. And again, this might go without saying, but if I edit something in the email field here for Luke Skywalker, so I'm in this view, this isn't like another sheet like you would see in Google Sheets. I'm literally editing Luke's record. So if I say that this is Luke at booleanreview.com, when I go to this grid view, it's the same record that just got updated. It's just, this is like a filtered view of the raw database. So when you come over to projects here now, you can have in that field, where did it go? Crew leader here. I can say edit and then limit record selection to a particular view. So I can say only show me the records that were in the sales estimator view. So now if I confirm, oh wait, I'm in crew leader. I need to go back to the configuration here. I need to only show me the crew leaders because I'm editing the crew leader one. Confirm that. So if I delete this, now when I go select the crew leader, I only see the crew leaders in this record. So I'm not going to make the mistake of selecting someone that's not a crew leader. Same thing here. I can say only limit the selection to only show me the sales estimators. And now I have the sales estimators that I need to view there. So I can go see, oh, this one was Luke Skywalker. And now it won't let me accidentally select the wrong thing. For this here, let's say we've got paintscout.com, and then there's going to be some, characters for the work order. Hopefully you're starting to see how this can come together. The part that I'm going to make a separate video on is the interface component of this. So this is a fantastic start to building a base. This is kind of the raw data that you're going to need, but there's other things that you can do, like you can add in additional work orders as a table. You can bring in customer payments or time tracking data. This is just the core function of like what you need in project management. So if this is interesting, obviously you can take it and run with this. I showed you some kind of core principles on how to build this out and structure this. But if you want help building things like this is what we do all the time. And we build out custom solutions for anyone watching this. And also, if you would like, I'm happy if you sign up, there's a little form down below. You can drop your email in. I'll send you this base of the super simple painting project management base so you can have a jumping off point and continue to build this further. So I'll just copy this exactly and save it in time. So anyone watching this video, if you want to start with this instead of building out everything, you can drop your email in and my team will email you the link so you can copy this over and begin building. So in the next video, you can stay tuned. We're going to dive into interfaces, which is a really powerful piece of Airtable, because out of the gate, like if you had to manage and work inside of this Google Sheet, it would be possible. But the power behind Airtable is the interface views, which really get all the clutter out of the way and focus on what the employee needs to be able to see to use Airtable like they should. Thanks so much for watching. Again, my name is Chris here at Boolean. We are on a mission to free you up to do what you love. Hope you enjoyed watching and that this was super valuable. We'll see you in the next video. But don't take my word for it. Here's a brief testimonial from one of our customers that went through our automation consulting and implementation. So check that out.
Boolean automation with Chris Kiefer and with Rod and their whole entire team has helped us really transform our company with getting the leads out to their sales team and just streamlining the whole entire process. So it's great.